Hey, YouTube, this is Quentin. I'm back with a comparison, not really a smackdown or battle, but a comparison. And I haven't done one of these in quite a while. I don't even think I've only did one other video of comparing two phones. But anyway, right now I'm comparing the Google Nexus 6 and Apple's iPhone 6 Plus. Two of my favorite type of phones because they're both basically unlocked phones, pure Android, and it's only one iPhone, one Apple is going to be pure iOS. So, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasters or netcaster, as he calls himself, Leo Laporte, and he said that the Nexus 6 is like the Apple iPhone of Android phones. If that's how, I think that's how he said it, because it's the pure experience of how Google meant it, the operating system to be. Anyway, the design. I'll get to the design. I like the design of both phones a lot. I would say I'm probably leaning a little more toward the Nexus because I like the feel of the Moto. I liked the feel of the Moto X second generation, and this is basically just a big Moto X. Really, the design. It connects the back connects fingerprints, so that's one thing that I probably don't like about it. But the overall feel and the curvature of the phone, even though it's a bigger phone, I like it a lot. The iPhone is not far off. I mean, I like it a lot too. It's a nice looking phone, premium, all aluminum, and that's something Apple has been known for since probably the iPhone 4 is a premium build. It's kind of thin. It's thin and wide, and it still feels really good in the hand. It's actually probably a little easier to hold if you have small hands. But I do still prefer the feel of the Nexus 6 as far as the way it's rounded and how you hold it in your hand. So, but both, I mean, it's not far off. I mean, I could take either. As far as operating systems, I would say I've used Android mostly, but I'm probably a fanboy of both systems, iOS and Android. I mean, I like them both. One thing I want to compare is probably how you unlock the phone. I'm really bad about putting passwords on my phones. I know I should. I mean, I'll always have them around. And with the Nexus 6, it's a lot improved in that you can have a password or a pattern or face unlock, which is not exactly that accurate. But you can add trusted devices, such as like a Bluetooth device, like an Android Wear product, like the Moto 360 is what I use. So you don't have to keep, putting your password in. So right now, I'm connected to Android Wear on my Nexus, and actually, no, I'm not. I'm saying I am, but I'm not. Anyway, and that's a mistake, but that's a foobar. But anyway, what happened is I restored the phone, so I haven't put security on it yet. I don't believe I have, but let me see. No, Bluetooth's on. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry, my mistake. See, connected and running sync loop, and so that's how I'm able to unlock my phone, without putting the password in. So that's better than nothing for me because I usually don't do it. Now, Apple's implementation is a lot better because it uses a fingerprint scanner and it's so accurate, man. It's awesome. It just works. I mean, it works pretty much every time. 99.9% of the time. Only time it doesn't work if I'm just not paying attention and I'm using another finger or I'm holding it on there weird, but it works. Not like almost 100%. So that is really the ultimate for me because I don't have to. I have a backup password, of course, but I rarely have to use it. Another thing, a quick comparison is the mobile payment systems. Like, say you want to touch it to an NFC enabled device. Now, Android has had Google Wallet for quite a while. I've used it. I haven't used it that much actually. The times I've tried to use it, it didn't work very well, and people were behind me, and I was kind of embarrassed. People seeing me using my phone. I was in a store one time, and this one girl saw me using it, And she's like, oh, he's using his phone, and just real loud, kind of embarrassed me. Anyway, and it didn't even work. And I don't know if I was doing it properly. I think I was trying to do it with the Nexus, the Galaxy Nexus. And that's like right around when they first started implementing that tap to pay Google Wallet type of deal, I believe, with NFC. Uh, the Apple iPhone finally has NFC, and you can only use it for Apple Pay. It's not like an Android where you can have tags and all that. So that's a disadvantage to a lot of people. But when you use it, it's awesome. It works really well. I've used it and I really like it. And what's cool about the iPhone is the antenna is somewhere up here. So when you tap it up there. You don't have to do a lot. Say this is the NFC, the little terminal. You just kind of hold it there. It picks it up. You see your card or a picture of your card. It doesn't have your information on there, just like a picture. You hold down, it scans your fingerprint, bam, it does it. It's paid, which is it's seamless. I've used it several places and it works. It's awesome. Google Wallet works pretty good. I've got it to work on this phone, which I don't, like I said, I like that because I haven't, in the past I had problems, so I didn't really try it a whole lot. The only difference in Google Wallet is it's pretty fast. You just have to have your screen unlocked. But once you hold it up there, it recognizes it's just like the iPhone. And then once it recognizes it, it comes up and asks you to tap. Tap if you want to authorize it, and you just tap it once and you're done. So it's not quite as fast as the iPhone, but it's pretty close. And then I think sometimes you may have to still enter your PIN. The one I used, you didn't have to. But I like Apple's implementation better. But they have the fingerprint scanner, so that makes it really easy. But both of them are really good. I mean, really, really good. Okay, another comparison. Of course, this is the unlock screen. Hold my fingerprint, unlock the iPhone and the Nexus, basically. And Android, it's more customizable. You can have your weather widget like I have. You don't have to have your screen populated with icons like the iPhone, but you can put them all in folders, and it works really well because you have a static wallpaper. And I think that's why the iPhone works so well as far as not jittering a whole lot. Although this one does some, if you saw my iPhone review, iPhone 6 Plus review, but it doesn't have a whole lot going on, so they don't need the top end specs to make it work. And actually, they do a really good job with this iOS, optimizing it to work with the hardware. Google's implementation is really good also, but you have your jitters here and there. It's not that bad. I mean, not enough for me. Google Now is probably what I really, really love about it. I mean, I love using it with Android Wear. It's really awesome, and Android Lollipop is really good. I mean, it's probably as far as fluidity and smoothness, it's on par with iOS now, in my opinion. I mean, in both of them you get glitches here and there, but Android is finally caught up. So you got the customability of Android. Right now, Lollipop, a lot of the apps some apps don't work with Lollipop right now, but I'm sure they'll update it. The one thing the iPhone has the advantage of, since it was the first really in this game of mobile devices like this, is they have a lot more app support, a lot more accessory support, everything. I mean, because it's a popular phone, and they update apps quicker. Like I use a password app called MSecure, and this is the version of it on Android, and this is the version on iOS, and it's totally different. It's been updated, and sooner or later, they'll update it on Android, but it always takes forever. And I just wish they would. That's the advantage the iPhone has. The developers, they will update the apps faster, and that's just how it is. It doesn't make it better. It's a much more widely known phone, and they just develop stuff faster on it. iOS has changed. You have the swipe up menu for your notifications. Android's had this, since forever, for always, really. So that's a really cool improvement. You have your notifications. So that's neat. And a lot of things, certain things work better on the iPhone, certain things work better on Android. One example, I guess I could say that I really like about Android is, say you have a picture and say, I take this picture and I want to share the picture. You can go right into the setting, click that setting, go right into it, scroll up. I want to say if I want to put it on Dropbox. Bam. You hit it, you go straight to Dropbox and add it. It's quick. On iOS, say you have a picture and you want to share a picture, and say I want to share this to Dropbox. And you would think you could click this, but they have a pre-selected things that you can put, add, but it's none of it is, the selection is not as long. And maybe I don't know iOS long enough or good enough, excuse me, but this is all you get. So to do Dropbox, you have to actually go all the way into Dropbox, and you have to go into it and go into Dropbox, basically. Go find a folder where you want to put the information, and then you basically click. You don't even do it this way. See, click here. Let me find it. Click here. Click more. No, that's not it either. See, I don't remember this because I don't do it a lot. Because this is why I like it better on Android. But basically, you're in Dropbox. Let me see if I can find it. Basically, you click here, add files. That's it. That's right. It was right there. I just didn't see it. You add files, and then you can go to Photos, iCloud, and that's how you can do it. But those are the steps you got to go through. It's just not as quick. So that's just one of the things I really like about Android, and that's just a little sample. You see how you can take a photo, and you have a much wider selection of where you can share your photos or where you want to put them or move them. So that's something I really like. Anyway, music wise, it used to be Android, Apple. I really like their music app. Some people don't. I like it. I like iTunes, and it really sounded well. I didn't really need an equalizer, but the what is a Motorola phone? The Motorola Nexus 6, Google Nexus 6. It sounds actually pretty good, and it's on par with the iPhone. Probably a little better because I use a third-party app called PowerAmp. Apple's ecosystem I still like a little bit better because I'm so used to using it. I have it on my Mac, and when I get a new iPhone, you just plug it in or store it from iCloud, and it just, bam, all your music, movies, everything's all there. Nothing, all your folders, it's all set up, easy, seamless. Google is catching up. You have your tap and transfer, and you can also skip that and choose to restore from a previous device, and that works pretty good, but not quite as good as Apple's implementation. Okay, and I'm just going to get back to comparing the phones. I kind of went off on a tangent comparing Android to iOS, but one of the things I like about the Nexus 6 is the front-facing speakers. And you're watching a video, that's pretty neat. The iPhone has a speaker on the bottom, and it's a mono speaker, and it's not bad, but it's not as good as the front-facing speakers. Watching video is pretty equal. You have a bigger screen with the Nexus 6, so it's going to be a little better experience. As far as the way the screens look, the iPhone uses an IPS screen, which is always, to me, better than for viewing outside. And I'm a fan of IPS screens. This uses an AMOLED screen. Basically, it's called I forgot the technical name. It's an LED screen, but I don't remember what the A stands for. Active matrix light emitting diode. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, normally these type of screens don't do good in sunlight, but this screen really does well, almost as well as the IPS screen. So that's a big improvement. As far as the clarity, this is a quad HD. This is a 1080p. It's really hard to tell the difference. The iPhone gets a lot brighter, but it's not necessarily as crisp as the Nexus 6. I would say the Nexus 6 probably looks a little better. It's more colorful, and that, AMOLED screens are known for that. But the iPhone gets brighter, and it's just as crisp. It's really hard to tell a difference. if I had to really choose, you push me, I would probably pick the Nexus screen, but the iPhone's not far behind, especially viewing in you know in sunlight. The one thing that's awesome about the iPhone is battery life, and I skipped right to that, but I'm gonna compare battery life. The battery life on the iPhone blows the Nexus away. I mean, it's probably the best battery I've had. And I'll be getting the Note 4 and we'll see. People, you got Android fanboys, and I'm an Android fanboy, I admit, but they're saying the Note is all these tests saying it's better. The Note is better than the battery life is better than the iPhone and 6 Plus. I'll believe it when I see it. I've had every Note, and it's never been nowhere near. Even the small iPhones, it wasn't as good from my experience. Apple just does a good job of optimizing the operating system and saves battery. The standby time, I can take this phone off the charger at 100%, go to work, come back for 13 hours, come back, and it's still on 100%. This phone, I do that, and it's pretty good, but I think it was down to seemed like it was down 85% or 80% or something like that, which ain't bad, but it's nowhere like this phone. I mean, and I'm really want to see the Note and see if it really does like people are saying. And I'll correct it, eat my words, and it may have. I mean, but I've never seen an Android phone other than the LG G2 that had the type of battery life like the iPhone, and I should mention the OnePlus. OnePlus is there too. Battery life is awesome. Just probably a slightly below the iPhone, but not a whole lot below. But the Note 4 supposedly with its Quad HD screen is supposed to be a better screen, and I'll see. And I don't want to be too pessimistic or skeptical of it because it probably is. I haven't even tried it, so we'll see. But battery life right now on iPhone it smokes it. Everything I've had. The camera performance is very good on the Nexus and the iPhone, and I'm not the best judge of the camera. I admit I'm not really a good camera person. I don't know how to technically explain what's good or not, like MPKHD, Marquise Brownlee, or any other good well-known reviewers. They're really good at telling you what the camera's doing, or if it has too much white balance or contrast, or they know. Or if it's too noisy. To me, I just go by what I see, and the iPhone is probably slightly better. Not that much better though. I'm not seeing that. It's easier to take pictures. The iPhone, just bam. Even on HDRs, it's pretty fast. The Nexus is kind of slow at processing the HDR, and that's the only thing. And I don't know. Some people might see that as a disadvantage. I really don't. But like I said, I'm not a camera person, or I don't take a lot of videos with my phone either. But from what I've seen, the Nexus is probably not as good as the iPhone in video capture or taking pictures. But it's good enough, at least for me. In low light, the iPhone is a lot better. Probably the M8, the HTC M8 and the M7 was probably close to the iPhone because it has a smaller megapixel camera, and I won't go too far into it because I may say something that I don't know what I'm talking about. But from what my understanding, the less megapixels you have, the better your low light performance can be. If the higher megapixel cameras, well, as far as phone cameras, don't really do well in low light situations. And this is only an 8 megapixel camera on the front. And the M8 was like a 4. So the iPhone kind of does a nice balance between a high, pretty decent megapixel and a lower. It's like 8. It's not 4, but it's not 13. So you get really decent pictures, and you can still perform well in low light. And they do good with their image processing and sensor. But anyway, let me shut up because I don't know enough about camera technology to really explain it or to make sense of it. Call quality is really decent on both phones. I haven't noticed one better than the other. It's both clear. I haven't heard anyone say it was any clearer or better on either. I would lean toward the Motorola because the Nexus 6 because it's a Motorola, but actually, really, and honestly, I haven't noticed one being better than the other. One of the things I like about Android, or I should say iOS, is, and this is a small thing. This is just me. Most people probably don't care about this. Is you have your battery percentage, and you also have the ability to have a different lock screen and home screen wallpaper. Android, for some reason, they don't want to do that. No battery percentage. Lets you swipe down, and of course you can put a third party app and have it up there. Or and you can't do a lock screen, different lock screen, and you can download a third party app to do that too. But it doesn't work as well. I mean, you can do it, but it just it works. It'll show the old this screen, and then it'll flicker, and then it'll show your different screen. Which that's just I don't know. I don't like that. Some people probably don't. That doesn't. I'd rather not even use it if it's going to do that. But but that's just something minor. That's just something I've always liked about the iPhone, and also probably the Note with TouchWiz, which I don't really care that much for TouchWiz, but that's one of the things I do like, and we'll be going over that with the Note 4. Another thing I want to compare is basically just customization and being able to do things like change the things around. Other than your lock screen, of course, I mentioned before, having a different lock screen wallpaper for me is an advantage. But with Android, you can do so much more. I mean, you can just pretty much do whatever you want. I watched one tech program where a young lady was saying that the guy's Android phone looked cluttered. And it did look cluttered. He had crap all over the place. But the thing about Android is you can have it however you want. You can have it clean like mine. I don't have any icons. Cons. I have all my folders here and my weather widget up here, and that's all you have. I have some widgets on the other pages, but I mean, that's the nice thing about it. With iOS, you just have rows of icons, which that's not bad. Most people honestly don't even care about that. I have a coworker, and I showed him a widget and what it does, and he was just like, man, he didn't get it. He wasn't into it, and he just likes a blank home screen, nothing. And the iPhone would be perfect for him, but it's really expensive, and he doesn't want to spend the money on to pay for an iPhone, which I don't totally blame him. But anyway, everybody's just not into that widgets and customizing. They just want the phone to work, and a phone like this will be perfect for my coworker and a lot of people. What's really hard about the iPhone is when you want to move something. Say you hold it down, and of course it shakes, but then you start moving it around, and you got to do it really quick because you'll push another app somewhere else where you don't want it, and it's just a pain. It's almost easier to just plug it into your computer and rearrange it that way, that's not even really that easy. But I mean, that's a minor thing. It's not, like I said, it probably doesn't bother most people. And you have your recent apps on the iPhone, which it's an improvement, kind of like it reminds me of the HTC Sense recent apps. And of course, to me, I like Android's recent apps, implementation a lot better. So I mean, but Apple's is not bad. Like I said, there are things I like about both systems, and I like using both. I've had almost every. Well, I didn't start getting iPhones till about the iPhone 4, so I can't say I've had every one, but I've had every Nexus phone. So, but I'm a fan of both. I don't really, I see advantages and disadvantages in both systems. Okay, that's just enough of my rambling about the iPhone 6 Plus and the Google Nexus 6. I like both phones. They're both pure unlocked phones. Not a lot of carrier stuff on them. Just what you want to put on them. The iPhone is unlocked, which I I didn't know. I bought this on the AT&T Next. I put my T-Mobile SIM in and it worked. LTE, everything. So I can switch back and forth however I like. So that was pretty neat. But they're both unlocked phones. Both pure phones. I like them both. Both has advantages and disadvantages. I hope you like this little comparison. I don't do a lot of these. Try to get better at it. But, that's just my thoughts on both phones that I really like. stay tuned for a Note review or comparison unboxing. I'm kind of late to getting the Note. I usually am. I've had every Galaxy Note, and I always get it later. And I'm actually getting a little sooner than I usually do. But anyway, thank you for watching my video. Have a nice day.